The purpose of knowledge some time back was the ability to discover answers, because education simply meant finding answers. But with the world that we currently live in and the situations around us evolving by the day, it is no more about finding answers. It is far more about questioning the answers. The ecosystem has changed, the resources available have changed, the world around us has changed. So what do school leaders, educators, teenagers have to say on this is what we'll try to know during this episode of Blub World Web Talks today. We'll be talking about teaching critical thinking in the age of AI. Critical thinking, by the core definition of it, means the ability to ask questions, to interpret, to infer, to see things from different lenses, to be able to appreciate perspectives on the same idea or the same topic. But when we don't sit with a problem and we don't ask questions for that problem and we just refer to an AI bot for this, how do we teach critical thinking? That's what we'll try to know from our educators today.
Good afternoon, good morning, and maybe the good evening to the people. The first thing is today's 3 minutes goes to us for sure. The topic is the technical, critical thinking and teaching of this in this AI age. The first and foremost things when we are teaching them, what is a educator for? The first question. We have changed the purpose today. When the AI is there, it's all about questioning them and getting the answers in a minute. But do the answers are correct? And when the answers we are getting, do we really think the answers everywhere correct and getting this rote learning to the memorization to the actual learning? Whether we are questioning our children, because today's learning should actually have that WH purposes, that why, what, how, where, each and everything. And somewhere in our school, Kids Pride English High School, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, we are just having, maybe the computer lab is there, the AI functioning is there, everything is there, but we are a nature school. We have classrooms, but we don't use that those like many times. We have a nature over there, and we sit with the students. Many a time, we make sure that whatever the biology teaches us about the compost, let the children go over there and have that particular thing, like an hands-on experience. We are the first school of Maharashtra, which is a zero-waste school. We are first school of Maharashtra, which is a progressive school. When we give the summer vacation work, we goes for all those kind of thing. When a child comes back in June, they are a junior scientist. They make some boxes. They make sure the box is having a small kind of a generic microscope, maybe some cotton things, this, that. They go to the different places at this particular summer vacation. They take out the soils from those places, maybe different places of Maharashtra. And we know that Maharashtra is all about having the black soil, but some are having very good for tur dal and some are very good for those cotton things. So why this kind of changes? AI will not give me the answers for sure. So that's why we are basically from the learning to the understanding positions, we have listening to questioning purposes. And when we are having these things, now somehow we have created some smart thinkers.
But we can all understand all of these things are amazing when they're given as an assignment, when they have to be complied with. But what is it that's organically happening to the human brain? Is the human brain really looking for that experience? Is the current child really ready to be, going to the outside world on their own? Or they have been reprogrammed into somebody who knows that the answer is available. Why should I be learning stuff? The purpose or the definition of gaining knowledge, has it in some way organically altered itself in the human brain?
I want to preface this by asking, if a student can have answers to a question in 5 seconds, what then is the role of a teacher? What is the role of a teacher in this age where answers can be gotten in seconds? Now, we are not teaching like we were teaching before. ChatGPT can write essays in seconds. It can give answers to complex questions, and it can also explain things. The question now is not, should we allow our students to use AI? The question is, how do we make them think when AI is thinking for them? So we are not going to stop them from using AI, but we are going to teach them how to critically think about the answers that they are getting. For instance, I'm a literature teacher, and in my class, I do not tell my students not to use AI. But this is the question I ask them. Interrogate your answers. Think about your answers. Discern, because AI can give you the summary of a poem, but can it give you the joy or the ache behind a metaphor? So, as a teacher in the 21st century, as a teacher in the age of AI, how are we going to teach? Number one, we are going to teach our students to question the answers that they get, because our students are no longer thinking. You ask questions and then they just give you the answer. But when you question the answers, that is the problem. You have absolute silence. Sometimes when you give them something to write in the house, or you give them an assignment, they get home and they download. They ask AI, AI gives them the answer. And then when they come to class, you ask them questions. Okay, how did you get this? Silence. That is where a teacher comes in. You need to ask them, how did you arrive at this answer? What is the bias behind this answer? What can you discern behind this answer? I think that is how we begin to teach critical thinking.
So I think you made a very important point. And I think this is the same point that Socrates made around 2,500 years ago. Socrates hated the lecture format of teaching. He always said the best form of teaching and learning is a conversation. But since we had to scale up education to teach millions of kids, we opted the lecture mode. And now with AI coming in and what Ms. Elizabeth just mentioned, it's no more about asking a question and getting an answer. It's about probing. That can you really probe them to which all layers of their answers? Can you question their answer? Can you question their answer to that answer? How much are you ready to probe? And more importantly, are you really ready to have a conversation?
When we ask, how did you get those answers? We are not getting any answers back, right? The problem is over here, they are using the AI because they know that we don't want them to use the AI. But what if the educators of the today are supporting them that you should use the AI with the right way of the content? For example, if I say, information are readily available. It does not matter what you are asking. They are just giving you all the information that is available on the platform. The problem is they are not asking the right question. If you are giving me this answer, what if I am looking in different perspective over there? Can it have a different answer? Does it have alternate options? What if I think it like that? What will be the answer then? Those are the critical things. Those are the ideas as an educator we need to implement in our students. That's what I feel. And luckily at my school, Akshara International School, I have a specified team of critical thinking where they gave weekly 50 minutes particularly for critical thinking. For example, let me take my subject is chemistry, so I will be talking for the chemistry. I'm searching for one particular chemical reaction on the AI. Now, the educator must promote that AI is a necessary thing in this age now. The educator must align with that. But at the same time, the student must feel comfortable using it. They should not fear the educator that why they are using the AI. Instead of that, are they using it properly the way it is supposed to be used? Then I think ChatGPT, rather than being an enemy of the education field, it will become a power of education field.
MIT did a very simple 4-week study on around 54 teenagers, or rather students. All of them were given an assignment to write an essay on a particular topic. Some of them were given ChatGPT to use, some of them were told to use Google search, and some of them were told to use nothing and only their brains. The challenge is not the output that came from it. The challenge is the people who used ChatGPT, or rather any other AI bot, they had the least neural connections in their brain. So this will intentionally make humans dumb. This is the challenge that we face when we opt this with open arms. You are right when you say this, that at least we will remove the friction and make it more acceptable, and we would have better students. It is a makeshift solution, you are right, but for us as a human race, this might not be the
We
right
live in
decision.
an age where critical thinking and problem solving do matter. And these are things that are more important than marks, which most of the academicians also agree with. It's like a superpower for the children, I'm talking about critical thinking, where they can grow into strong, independent learners. But how we use and how we integrate really matters. And there are schools who follow different ways. As already mentioned by previous speakers, we live in a world of AI, co-pilot, co-autopilot, or whatever you call different AI tools, where children get an information of, or every aspect, like explosion of information, and how they integrate it into their daily lives do really matter, right? Because if they blindly copy this, believe all the information that is around, it will really lead them into trouble. So they have to use their brain judiciously with prudence, right? And then see the facts. We know we live in a time of lots of difficulties, traumas. Probably you're aware, Middle East was having lots of issues, and children have the habit of immediately posting, very strong contents, which sometimes are against the government, against the country, probably even out of their innocence or ignorance. This is where we need to really empower them and tell them the importance of using their brain in a very, very sophisticated
Problem
manner. And
is our perspectives have completely blurred reality. Our perception is controlled by any form of communication that comes to us. It's no more reality to your thought, it's your thought to your reality. And this change of cycle makes it very difficult to teach. And that's why critical thinking becomes a very critical factor in education. Because as a human, we are in a very dangerous time when, for the first time, we have a more intelligent being on the face of the earth than us. It has never happened in human history till date. AI is the first, or rather, when artificial general intelligence come in, AGI, which is right now on our doorstep, it will be the most intelligent being on the face of this planet. And we won't be the ones that have been for such a long duration of time. This is what makes this skill
Everybody
even
has
more critical.
right now understood that just answering is not the answer. So how are we preparing our children to think what actually we are preparing them for? Because machines, they answer faster, in a more accurate manner, and in a better manner. Suppose a student just puts the prompts in AI and generates an answer, he gets full marks, right? So is that learning or is that performance? We have to differentiate between that, learning and performance. Suppose the student gets an answer why the sky is blue. Perfect answer. But what if the student thinks, why is the sky of that color? And will it be the same color if seen from another planet? What if the environment of the earth could be different? What would happen to life on earth? Or suppose AI gives a very good answer to a mathematical equation, the student copies and gets full marks. But what if there could be another method to that particular equation? So, what is important? The process, the method, or the answer? We always say that the journey is more important than the destination, right? Definitely, the procedure, the method is more important because learning happens there, not with the answer. We always have this question in our minds: is AI a replacement? The answer is no. AI is not a replacement. Rather, how to question in a more intelligent manner. So AI will stop when the intelligence starts, where the intelligence starts. So if there is a question called what is democracy, the child gets an answer to a democracy. But what if the student think that what if democracy fails? What could be the alternative, right? So these are the efficient questioning techniques that the child should develop, and that happens in the classroom. And that is where AI starts. That means a classroom should not be predictable, where questions are expected, answers are memorized, and thinking is optional. In fact, we can prepare children to be machines, but what are we preparing children for? Not machines, but to be real human beings. That should be our real responsibility.
That's actually the genesis of this topic, that when we currently do evaluations, when we look at answers and we try to judge the individual that, okay, he or she is fit for doing this job or fit for doing this in the society, that metric has completely failed. It doesn't work anymore. Because at whatever point you are, stopping the buck, that's not the point where it's really stopping. Now the child with the AI bot decides that till what extent can I take this content to? And that's where evaluation, I'm sorry to say, goes down the drain. So as educators, now the art has to be giving them the ability to have a deep conversation on a particular topic with an intelligent person for at least 30 minutes. Can you sustain that? That's your examination. Can you really study something so deeply, so involved that when an intelligent individual wants to have a conversation with you, you're able to converse and not perform? That should be the way we should be evaluating individuals. It's hectic, it's unscalable, it's difficult, but I think that's where AI has.
Our role is not to limit AI. Our role, my experience, not as a teacher or as an educator for more than 30 years. I need to share my experience as a student, because when I was a student in the school, I was having the answers in the book. So getting the answers by AI, it's not a surprise for all of us. Or actually, I have the answers. I had the answers when I was a child. But the problem is, how can the teacher test if the students understand these answers? So I need to share in these 3 minutes, how can we put the students in this era? How can we give the students the opportunity to apply the critical thinking inside the class? For example, we can ask the student to get the answers by minimum 3 AI tools. When the teacher asks the student to get the answers by 3 AI tools, then the students compare these answers and evaluate this tool and tell me if this subject is mathematics, so which one is good in math and what is the least one in mathematics. We can apply this in all subjects, and we can evaluate AI tools, and we can work with the ICT sessions how to improve this AI tool. This is a way to give the students the opportunity to use their minds in this subject. Also, we can use another type of putting the students in this era of critical thinking. We can ask the student to generate the 3D model for something by AI tool. So my question is to ask them to use AI tool. Then after that, I can ask them to make it physically, to design it physically, so they can apply what the AI tool give them. This is a way to apply what's ready made by the AI tool, the design, and I will apply it, so I cannot apply it without understanding. Another way to use AI in education, that we can ask the AI with points of view, ask the question for the AI with points of views and some headlines or some guidelines to the answer, and ask another the same AI tool with the same question but without details. So when we ask the AI tool in details or give the AI tool some guiding lines or guiding points, and asking the AI without these guiding points, are the two answers equal or not? Let's think, how can the AI generate the answer with guidelines and without guidelines, and how can we make the answer is perfect by giving the AI tool the guidelines to give me what I need. So I can put the AI to help me perfect by giving him the guidelines. Also, my another way to apply the AI tool in education and to keep sure that the critical thinking is applied inside the classes, I can ask the students to search for the answer by AI at home and come to the school tomorrow to present in opposite to the students. So he cannot present in opposite to his colleagues without reading.
One of the way is make AI a party to the conversation. Let them compare the responses from 3 tools and let them deduce what do they think about those AI tools. Let me give you an example, and it'll rather astonish you. Please don't use this practice in your classroom. I would strongly suggest this. At the World Teen Parliament, we run this institution where teenagers from more than 50 countries participate. We get world leaders to speak to them every month. We have had more than 50 parliamentary sessions where MPs from more than 50 countries have already interacted with the teenagers at the World Teen Parliament. And you'll be astonished to know when these MPs come to those forums and those teenagers bring questions using AI bots, they bring in made up information. And those world leaders have to correct those teenagers that whatever source of information this is absolutely wrong. This never happened in my life. What you're talking about is absolutely non-credible information. The purpose of keeping this topic was very simple. As humans, we have forgot questioning. Let me share a simple, insight with all of you. It's not an insight, rather, it's a research content that's publicly available. You know what? How many questions does an average toddler ask in a single day? The range is between 300 to 450 questions a day. And you know what's the average questions a teenager asks in a day? That's 2 to 3. This is where everything is going wrong. We don't need to change a lot. What we need to change is giving them a space to have conversations. Education is no more about teaching and learning. It's about having a conversation. Only to and fro can make teaching happen. But I think it's a very valid idea to let them use and know the tool. But I would strongly suggest don't do this. AI gives a lot of made up information that even isn't reality. And the problem with human brain is what all the news media use very easily and very well. The news has to reach you first. Whether it is correct or not doesn't make a difference. Because if you hear it first, you'll believe it forever.
I think the issue is about how children are able to use ChatGPT while also contributing to classroom discussions. And when we are looking at inquiry-based learning here in Olumawu School, what we generally do is to encourage interactive learning so that through inquiry-based approaches, the teachers can direct the children to have conversations. It is important that they have those conversations, bringing about what they are thinking about the different groups that they have in the classes. Because let's take a topic like respiration in biology. While you have 3 groups or 4 groups, you expect them to have a task, and then you now have them to come back at the end of the class to have a plenary where each group will give its own submission. Now, if a particular group is going to ahead to use GPT, the particular group will be interested in getting to know what the other group will be coming up with. Now, if a group is only satisfied with the result they are getting from ChatGPT and submitting that at the end of the class, the other group will go ahead to probe the answer that ChatGPT is going to give, and they will render their own, apart from what ChatGPT is giving. So this is an interesting view to it, that you have different viewpoints, because a particular group will want to be different from what others are doing. What we also do is to ensure that we take our children outside of the classroom to the world of work through excursions. We organize excursions right from preschool through primary, through secondary. All the children are taken out to learn from what is happening in the world of work. And when they come back, of course, they do a critique of what they have seen, and they give their recommendations. In doing so, that helps them to see that learning does not stop in the classroom, and then to relate what they have learned to what is happening in the real life, so that later on in life, they'll be able to make their own assumption about what is happening and then make their
I remember the
recommendation.
day when a group of teachers approached me and say, "Sir, you always ask us to create innovative assignments, right? But we put a lot of efforts to create an innovative assignments, but the moment when we check the submission of student, it is almost same, right? The words are same, the sentences are same, the images are very similar, So that was the issue, and we thought of something to, how we can tackle this in these things. So we did few things like 2 years back only, like all thanks to our leadership team. We started panel discussions where students tell teachers, so these are the AI tools and how we can use these tools in the classroom. So that's a regular feature in the calendar of DPS Modern Indian School Doha. That's one thing we did. Second, instead of giving them direct, assignments, we started using something like the class has been told to train a AI bot from scratch for a particular topic or regarding some assignment. And later in classroom, all the student and teacher will ask question to that board, and then they'll judge and the competency and all. So these such initiatives we are taking to tackle these things these days. Yes, of course. And then connect was missing, like most of the leaders were saying that connect will never come to these Gen AI tools. And if you look at the educators also, look at the way they're writing articles these days. I think it's evident on LinkedIn. Every second teacher, publishing articles without giving a thought to it. They only need one line, right? The current topic. They just give it to a generative AI. They generate pictures and beautiful article. So without going through the depth of that, discussing with their peer, their colleagues, they're posting it. So this is how we're tackling these things. I think
approach that rather than telling them to learn, let's tell them to teach, and let them teach and train a bot on a particular topic, and let the teacher test the bot that whether it works nicely or not. So this is something that's happening right now. When all of us use any bot, these AI companies make money out of all the training that we give to their bots. So, you use the same model within the classroom, which is quite impressive. And I think this is something that other schools can also use. So at the World Teen Parliament, we started something very similar. And this was one of the purpose of starting the Teen Parliament, that the current generation who's going to hold the decision making for all of us in the future does not want to think. Their struggle of learning anything has been completely vanished. They are not engaged. There's no hustle to learn anything. They get everything served to them. And that's why they have the comfort of distorting the reality. That let's not think of this like this. Let me think of this the other way. Till the point it's creativity, it's good. And till the point it becomes manipulation, do we really want that? And that is why the current teenager has no shred of respect for any human around them. The reason is they've lost empathy of being humans. They do not appreciate or rather accommodate the mistakes a human can make, because they are now expecting an elder to be better than an AI bot. That's the parameter that they have. And that's what's making everyone's life difficult. We need more human conversations. We need more human touch points. We need live interactions and less recorded content and less written content. We need thinkers.